Hello.
Hey Patty, how are you?
All right. How about you?
Good. What'd you think of that meeting?
Oh, God. That was just a prime example of why we never get anything done in this town. I mean, that last, 40 minutes was excruciating. It's like, 40 minutes to decide on next steps drives me crazy. And they've been talking about for 3 meetings, and they sound like they don't have consensus, but yet they're all saying the same things. I don't, and all Craig is asking for is a list of recommendations. He's not like asking, for a vote or, whatever. Just give me kind of talking points. And they can't even decide on that. Drives me flipping crazy. But anyway,
Oh, you know what? Um, I thought that at the end of it though, because the Brown Act does, make things a little more difficult to
yeah,
do that. But I thought that I had to leave at 6:15 because I had a phone call, but um I don't know. I felt I feel like at least even though it's slow, or at least moving in the right direction. So
absolutely. I mean,
yeah.
I thought it was a good conversation. Um, I know it's water under the bridge, but we should have this 3 years ago. But we didn't. So I think they're looking at the right things. I I applaud the conversation. It just takes so freaking long to get anything done in this town. Drives me crazy.
Oh, Patty, this is Nancy. We've chatted, and if you think it takes time to get something done
Oh,
in the town, you should try getting something done at the Sequoias. We are a mini version. I've been working 7 years on a dog park. We still don't have one, but at any rate, anyway, I'm going to sit in and
Well,
listen
I
here.
think we're up to like 5 years, but
Okay.
wait,
you know,
Nancy, I'm Karen. Nice to
Hi,
meet you.
Karen.
Where
Nice to
where
meet
would
you.
you guys put a dog park, and how big would it be?
Well, first of all, it would be just private, so it wouldn't be something that is public. And if you know our area here, we have a large lawn bowling that's sort of on our lower
Oh,
level. You sort of pass it on the way in. Now I've been here 7 years, and let's say I've worked with 5 different executive directors, and we've had 3 different plans in different places. The logical place, because we need to consider making it ADA accessible, flat, and near water. And the logical place, which I think they're finally going to go back to, is like a maybe because that the big lawn area is 100 by 100, and there's plenty of room. We use croquet, bocce ball, a few other things. So the best plan for it is a strip along the one end that would give us the length, which I've been fighting for, so you could at least toss the ball and stuff. But we had one resident that came forward and said, I like it the way it is. And it got ditched. And that was 2 years ago. And then we had a landscape people that knew nothing about designing, blah, 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 blah. I'm sure you've got your history and story. That is the logical place. And I think ultimately, it's hard, just like the city has so many priorities. Our complex is 60 years old. So do you invest in that, or do you fix the boiler that's 60 years old? So, it's the challenges no matter. So at any
yeah.
rate, I'm still working on it. I'm still working on it. I stopped beating my head against the wall. Sounds like you've done the same for a while. And
yep, we have done
of
the
course,
same.
now you're bringing it back up again with with all the financial challenges. So at any rate, I'm going to mute myself and just listen in, but I will comment if it's relevant when you get to that point. Um, I was on the Mountain View Parks and Recs Commission for a long time when I lived in Mountain View, and I was involved when they built their first large dog park. We have a very large
Mm,
one that's great that is out by, if you're familiar with Shoreline Park, where that is. It's sort of now in the middle of Googleville,
Mhm.
But right before you go into the park, which is not allowed dogs, if you turn right there, and it's great because it's sort of away from everything, although, you know, buildings are starting to creep up closer to it. It's a very, what makes it good, there is it's quite large. Um, it just does have, you know, DG for the surface, so, you know, depending on the weather and stuff. It's fenced in, and there's a large dog park, and then adjoining it is the small dog park. So we have the separation, common, relatively large entrance area. So you come in a common place and then you go one or the other direction to get to the larger to the small. And as you know, with dog parks, one of the places they were going to look here was under a whole bunch of deciduous trees, which is not where you put it. You don't find poop and whatever. So the nice thing there, what they did was they have built on it, it's sort of picnic benches with a covering over it. So mostly it's not a real shaded area. So it's open to the sun, and the plus on that, of course, is, you know, when the weather is bad, you know, the area dries quickly and stuff. And then additionally, although I wasn't involved in it, there is an amazing urban park that is in the complex by San Antonio and El Camino. It's amidst the high rise that the it used to be where Sears was, and now, you know, there's hotels and everything. And they did an amazing, and there's a lot of apartments around there. An amazing, it's really a beautiful, you should be able to just Google it. It's the art around it, they do use, it's the artificial turf. And it's not huge, but it is certainly very adequate for, you know, getting the dogs to exercise, and a place for a lot of the people that live in that big physical space now and stuff. So I can give you the Zoom link
Yeah.
on that. It's yeah.
You know what? I wonder if the developer had anything to do with that, or if that was sort of part of the deal, but that's, I don't
Yeah,
know.
I honestly don't know. You know, every time I turn around there, another building is going by, and another big high-rise or hotel is going up in that complex. But
Yeah.
the park that was originally built, I'm just trying to think. It doesn't really matter. It was
So,
persistent residents that got it going. And then Mountain View is known for, if they're going to do something, they sort of do it first class. And the advantage of that, as you know, with many dog play areas, we call it a dog play area. We don't get as much into the permitting as dog park. But at any rate, in that particular case, it is somewhat remote. And that's sort of many of the dog, I've gone to tons of dog parks. And, you know, I used to live on the coast and yada, yada, yada. And that's sort of a plus. I mean, you got to drive to get there, but you're away from, you know, a lot of people walking by, you're away from noise next to apartments and stuff. So, you know, so I have some perspective and knowledge from those experiences, and then what we're trying to do here. So, and I didn't mean to usurp your meeting here, so
no,
I'll just
Okay.
mute myself.
well, we're waiting for some other members.
Oh.
Hi, Lindsay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I know John is not going to be able to attend. He's traveling. I did not hear from Dave. I just texted Cindy, but you know, I remember that she drives back from Berkeley on Tuesday nights.
No, you know, I saw her, and she was with her grandson, and I said, "Oh, you got reprieve from the East Bay today?" And she said, "Yeah, they're over here. It's I think it's somebody's birthday. So I wonder if she was going out to dinner and forgot about it. I'm sure she'll respond."
Yeah.
How many members?
Because
How many members do you have, and how many do you have to have for a quorum to vote on something?
Well, we have 5. We're not Brown Act, so we're not
Oh, you're not. Okay.
burdened by the quorum. We like to have as many as possible.
wait,
Obviously.
don't we have 6 members right now?
We have 6.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Um,
Yeah, so. Okay, well,
You got three.
hi Lindsay.
Hello, hello.
I didn't get your
I-
name, and I don't think it's Rita for some reason.
No, it's Lindsay.
Okay, thank you.
I just got it. An automatic.
I
Intelligent.
know, I know.
Okay, well, I guess we should go ahead.
I'm super surprised there aren't more people here, but okay.
I'm not. You were the only one that noticed, well, Nancy did too, that you couldn't open the attachments.
Yeah,
Oh,
there you go.
That tells you, well, I was very interested. Who did all of that amazing summarizing of that survey, or just putting the survey together is non-trivial. Did you guys
No.
take care of that, or did you have some
Karen,
staff help?
no, we did it. Karen did the bulk of the work. And then I pitched in a little bit at the end, but mostly Karen.
That's great. You did a great
Okay,
job.
well, let's just, darn it. I need some of these people. Okay, well, we'll call to order. 7:40. Any oral communications? Nancy, do you want to say anything? You're
Not on the
in-
agenda.
It's on the agenda, so you can't talk. Okay. All right, approval of minutes from September 17th, 2024.
We approve.
I second.
All those in favor?
I,
Thank you. Okay, we have an application for a new member. As you may or may not know, John Myers, who's one of our members, is going to be taking an extended leave of absence. He finally retired, and Beth, his wife, said, damn it, we're gonna travel. So he's gonna travel. And I told him he had to find a replacement. So Mike Chang has submitted an application, and he couldn't make it tonight. He did reach out to me, but he did say that he was very excited and interested in joining, and I attached his application. So does anybody have any questions or comments that I might direct towards Mike? Go ahead.
Welcome.
yeah, I was gonna say, I think Mike is a great fit. He's very active in the community, both with pickleball and softball. And as John said, he's gonna be, I guess, working the trivia night at Alpine Hills next month. So he's gonna get experience with that. And he's just a fun guy, very capable. So I think he's a great addition.
I do too. I do too. Looking forward to it. Lindsay, do you know Mike?
I do not.
Okay. He's a good guy. Our sons went to school together. Not that that matters. Okay. Well, I don't think we have to officially vote, and it sounds like people are in favor anyway. So next steps is, since we're a town manager committee, I will forward the application on to Corey and ask her to approve it. And hopefully she's not buried in other stuff, and we can get that approved for the next meeting. Okay. Moving on to old business, Sauce Town Picnic Review. I guess I'm the only one on here that went. Hey, it was a huge success. Everything went perfect. Absolutely nothing went wrong. Whoever runs this thing is just a saint. I mean, literally, just, I don't know what we're doing out here.
Patty, congratulations. I did hear that it was super hot and that people were asking about a dunk tank.
Oops,
Just kidding.
you planted that. You planted it. You know what? Next year it's going to be like 50 degrees and raining.
Probably.
Yeah. So, yeah, not to belabor it, we had over 400 people rated Zots. I did get an email from John who said that, because I asked him, we had a total of $7,180 in registration fees, which more than offsets the cost of Zots to Tots. So it's actually a moneymaker for the town. I noticed one of the proposals was to cut out the town picnic at Zots, which, you know, hey, if that's what we have to do, that's what we have to do. But I do want it known that Zots covers their own expenses. So they do a great job. And they had the usual chaos at the finish line. I don't know how we're going to fix that, but anyway, and the picnic was very, very well attended. As Karen said, it was very, very hot. And people early migrated to the shade. A lot of people sitting under the trees, everything. And they left kind of early. It wasn't a picnic where a lot of people come around. But
This is a reminder.
we had very good attendance at the 60th anniversary booth. I'm going to be putting together a little kind of montage of all of the timelines and the pictures that we had. And we're going to put that on the web. I'm not sure, Karen, we've identified a place where we could put it up for others to see yet, but we do definitely want to get it on the web. And it seemed to be a popular thing. People had a lot of strolling down memory lane of things that happened in the last 60 years in this great town of ours. So great success. We'll see if we get to do it next year. And Karen can have her dunk tank. You're muted.
Yeah, I have a barking dog at times. So anyway, I'm sorry that I missed the event, and I'm really sorry I missed the walk down memory lane. So I am hoping, and I realized I think Charlie Krenz, there was a video as well that was done that, I don't know, obviously that's probably, he said it's up on the town site, so hopefully that'll be in conjunction. But I wanted to throw out, this is not related to the historic stuff, this is related to the picnic. You know, with trivia night, we self-funded, and with Zots to Tots, it's self-funded. And so, you know, if push came to shove, we might be able to get enough private donations or funding for people that attend the picnic to be able to do it without impacting the town finances. So I wouldn't rule it out completely, because there's probably some ways to get it done, because I think it is one of the things that people cherish about this town, and it would be a shame to not have these community events, and I think people are willing to support them.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not very objective, but I do agree. And I think, quite frankly, we could take a look at the budget and cut back a little bit. We probably I haven't been as diligent in looking at things. It's kind of been booking the same old stuff every year, but we could certainly come at it from both ends. So let's hope. Okay, anything else on Zots or the town picnic? Okay, game night update. We don't have Cindy here, but she has scheduled a night for the test for the PV Pasingo. Is that what we're calling it?
Pazingo, PV Pasingo.
PV Pasingo. Nancy, just so you know, I'd be interested to get maybe your reaction to it. We have, I don't know if you know, we have a trivia night that we host.
I'm not familiar. I saw it on the thing, but I'm not familiar what
Yeah.
it is, so.
We're trying to branch out and maybe do different games. I mean, trivia night has been a huge success. We get over 100 people, or at least 100. And to Karen's point, it's pretty much self-funding with donations. But
What event was that? You just said that it was a success. I didn't hear you. What's the event?
it was a success, yes. Sorry, what was
Trivia night, trivia
Oh,
night.
trivia. Thank you. Thanks.
So we've heard about a game. It's kind of a cross between Name That Tune and Music Bingo. And we're going to do a little test to see how we would actually run the game and bring the results back to this group to see if we want to branch out. We've talked about having casino nights, you know, some other things. But we'll certainly continue to have trivia nights because those are a huge success. But anyway, the test night for PV Basingo is Wednesday, October 23rd. And it's at my house, which is kind of a bummer because that's the night of the town council meeting, which I'd really like to listen to, but I guess I'll have to listen to the recording. So I think the next meeting, we will be able to come back to this group and talk about the test. We've got about, I think, a dozen people. I think we want like 3 tables of 4, and just to see how it would work, and things like that. So stay tuned for that.
You know what? My memory was jogged. I think in the last meeting, we were gonna look at seeing if the community hall was open. There were 2 Saturdays we were looking at in January.
Yes.
Did we?
Yes, we did. Patty did that. That was her action.
She's so
And-
awesome.
What, that woman, I swear, she must live on fumes. Yeah, we had, January 11th or January 25th. January 25th is taken. But I am holding January 11th.
Okay. I'm surprised January 25th was already taken.
You know, I asked about that because I thought, well, maybe it's just an afternoon event. Because I didn't know our community hall, you know, like was that popular. We should be getting more revenue for that. Anyway, and yeah, Carrie told me it was reserved till 10 o'clock that night. So something's going on. Someone's got a party and I'm not invited. So bummer.
There's still time. There's still time to get an invite.
I'll just have to go crash it. So January
Okay.
11th, which I'm not crazy about. It's kind of soon after you come back from the holidays, but you know, we'll see. I was just happy I got somebody at town hall to return my phone call. I'm sorry, did I say that? Terrible thing.
No,
Okay, thanks, Lindsay. I didn't say that. Okay, Hans.
So okay, let me start with, there is a meeting next Monday, the 21st of October. It's an ad hoc committee meeting where Hawthorne's is going to present. And it's a public meeting, even though we're not a Brown Act, we'll sort of follow that same agenda. And then their plan is to present to the town council, I believe, on the 30th, at this point in time. So, in the meantime, I know that BPTS has submitted, a new letter to them requesting that they prefer, parking lot 9. From a safety and aesthetic issue, I guess. And then open space is going to
And
be
cost,
meeting
too.
on,
They said
Pardon?
cost as well.
oh, yeah, and
cost.
to do the trail redesign and such.
Yeah.
And then open space is meeting this Friday to discuss things and are going to be submitting a letter that would obviously be there on Monday. The other thing that I've learned, and I did not attend this meeting, and so I do want to ask about it in this ad hoc meeting, is there was a board meeting at Mid-Penn to discuss fast tracking, refurbishing the historic barn and doing joint programming with the residents that will be at Willow Commons. And I don't know the outcome of that, but I thought we should ask there and see, because, and it included, the concept was it included parking, access and parking, which they poo-pooed the entire time with the other side. So we'll have to see how that goes. But we'll just see on Monday where it heads out. Do you want to add anything to that, Patty?
No, no, the only thing I would add, and this is something that I hadn't told you about, but it's kind of parallel. Nancy Lund and I reached out to the Mid-Penn board and asked specifically if Nancy could get on, you know, kind of the position that Karen Batra held in the previous ad hoc, be the Portola Valley representative when they start discussing the broader historic site. Because I think it's very important to have someone with Nancy's, you know, knowledge of the community, knowledge of that property, and just her background to be able to provide that expertise within the ad hoc committee itself, as opposed to the ad hoc committee, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
So-
the working, the Mid-Penn committee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mid-Penn committee, not
The other thing I was thinking about, and I haven't heard from Brooke Coffey, who, you know, is the nature and science committee rep on our team, but once they start doing this stuff over on that side, there could be, I know she's talked about an interpretive center, or there could be more related to science and nature programs that are over there. So I do think it's important that we make sure that we have the right representation.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, no, that's all I have on Hawthorne's. Okay, town court outstanding topics. The only thing to report there is that the town did purchase, and we have received the new pickleball nets. So amazing to me is I got a note from, I asked for approval to buy them because I said if the town wasn't going to do it, the pickleball community was ready and willing to buy them themselves because the old ones were, you know, just on their last legs. And Sharif came back and said, no, we'll buy them. He left. And then I wrote to Tony and Courtney, and they both said, no, we'll honor it. And they got the PO, and like within a week, we had the nets. So they are on the courts. They're fantastic. I went down and played pickleball the other day, and they're much heavier, but they're on nice rollers. They're sturdier. They're much more professional. And the pickleball community is just thrilled. So I think that's a positive sign. And we got that done. So I think that's good. What is still outstanding is, and it's on my list to talk to Corey about, or whoever's going to be sitting in that chair, is the proposal that we actually approved about a permanent pickleball court. So I've not had a chance to raise that with anybody at the town. It's kind of on the back burner as there's a lot of stuff right now. But we do have new pickleball nets. And I think that's a step forward. So
So, the new nets are on court one, correct? And they basically stay there, right?
Correct.
So is that sort of a de facto dedicated pickleball court?
it is, technically tennis players, there are times when tennis players could reserve court one. That's still in our policy. And technically, the pickleball players are supposed to only keep those nets up Monday through Friday. But they're not. And Cindy's been monitoring it. She's been keeping track of if there are any tennis players who show up that want to play, or any tennis players that make reservations. And she said, so far in the last few months, there's been absolutely no demand on court one from a tennis player. The fact that we have court number 3, which is now a tennis court, pretty much a dedicated tennis court, except for ball, is a plus. She said most tennis players prefer to play on court number 3 with the new net, and also the net that protects them from the pickleball people and the balls rushed into their court. So there just hasn't been any conflict as of yet. So, but yes, you're right. I mean, technically they're not supposed to be permanent. For all intents and purposes, they are. And we need to move ahead, I think, with our formal proposal to kind of keep it moving.
Yeah, the only thing is, and I don't think I don't think Corte Madera uses them, is when they use the tennis courts, they're only using 2 courts, right?
Right.
Okay,
They're only using 2 and 3.
okay.
And they're increasingly playing more pickleball too. So who knows? I've had a couple of complaints from non-residents lately. People who wanted access to the reservation system. But when I asked them for their address, they were Woodside or Menlo Park. And I told them that, you know, what our reservation policy was, the fact that they could reserve, but only within a 24-hour window. They both said that wasn't fair, quote unquote. But I didn't hear anything more from them. So. Sorry. That's the way it is. Okay. Oh my gosh. Do we have an update on the off-leash dog area?
So for our one member of the public who's here,
Lindsay hasn't seen it.
and pardon?
Lindsay hasn't seen it.
Oh, Lindsay hasn't seen it. Okay. So I'm going to share my screen because to all of you people out there, you have access to this in the agenda because it's attached. Wait, why didn't, hang on one second. There we go. And then I need to move these guys. Okay. So, oh goodness, this goes really quickly. Sorry. Okay. We had, over 300 people fill out the survey, which is fabulous. Given that this was only, on the forum, it was also on our website. I should be careful, but only, generated online through online vehicles. And I'm sorry, I have to move some stuff around here. We also ended up with about 90% of the respondents being from Portola Valley. And quite honestly, the rest of them are what we call mostly from the sphere of influence. They were Woodside, and as you know, we have a bunch of Woodside residents that attend Portola Valley School. And some people put down unincorporated San Mateo County, or they might have put down Los Trancos. So again, they're not technically Portola Valley residents, but we do treat them as such. And then the blue is Ladera. So this really was only our residents and those very nearby, which is great. Now I'm not able to. Sorry, I'm
Hey, could
using
you
the
slow
one.
that down a little bit? I'm having trouble reading it.
I'm sorry, Lindsay. I'm gonna switch. Well, I have to go very slowly here with my, holy cow.
Your pointer is on high speed.
Just use the arrows,
Good.
not
The
the
arrow
mouse.
isn't working. That's
Oh,
that's
really?
what I think is really
There you
bizarre.
go.
Oh,
you-
there we go. Okay, so question 2, what we asked folks, are you in favor? And as you can see, over 3/4 said they were in favor and another 15% said maybe. So less than 10% said they were not in favor. And no, that's not working now, that arrow. And we also asked how many dogs you owned. And as you can see, over 50% of those that answered have 1 dog, and another almost 20% have 2. We did have quite a few people fill out this survey that don't own a dog.
I know, I noticed that. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So over 1/4, which is great because we really want to hear from whether you own the dog or you don't, right? We want to hear from every member in our community.
Well, we did have that one respondent that only has a goldfish.
So I did a little comparison. I said, well, let's check this out because maybe the no people are all not in favor of an off-leash area. But when you look at this and break it down by the number of dogs, you can see on this top row that more than half were in favor of a off-leash dog area, of more than half of those folks that do not own a dog. And obviously it goes up with the fact when you own a dog. But I thought that was interesting, just to make sure that we are representing all of our residents here. Why is this? There we go. Okay, so then we asked, okay, do you ever let your dog off leash in certain areas of town? And some people were concerned that we would get people lying about this. I really don't think we did. I think, nearly half the people said, yes, I do. And also then actually it's more than half because almost 1/4 of them said, I don't own a dog, right? So you have a lot of people that right now are letting their dogs off leash, which technically isn't legal.
Not technically, it is.
It
illegal.
isn't legal. I know.
We have here.
And I'm sorry. Go ahead, Nancy.
No, we know it's not legal, and here, we have a couple people that are just gonna run them where it's not fenced in, down on the bowling green. It's not that many, but, yeah.
How many Sequoia's residents own dogs? Do you have
That's,
any?
it's a very good question. There is not a huge number. We have more coming in. Number one, we do limit the size. Okay, so it's not supposed to be over, I think, 25 pounds. We got a couple that sort of are a little fatter than that that come in. And also we're living in smaller places. You're not going to have a big golden retriever in a little 1-bedroom apartment and stuff. In answer to your question, I don't know. I'd say it's in the teens. So it's not 30, 40, 50, and it's not a few. I'd say it's, I'd have to go count. We've had a few more that have come in, maybe 12 to 15 or so. We have cats. That's a problem because they're supposed to be on leash and they run wild. And we've got parrots. I didn't count the goldfish, but
How many residents are there in the Sequoias?
we have, ballpark, we've got about 300 residents and 200 staff. Staff don't bring their pets
Okay,
to.
so maybe 15 dog owners out of 300, so 5% or something like that.
Yeah, and
okay.
but again, the deal is, it's one of the big draws here for marketing. And so I've always said, if you're going to say that you've got a dog, I mean, when I came 7 years ago, they said there would be an exercise area for dogs. So, that's, I said, please just be honest with the people that, and they all keep hoping that we're getting something, but I don't know. I happen to choose, it's important to me to have a fenced in area. Now, I am unaware of anything. I either have to go to Menlo Park or to Mountain View. I'm sure there's some in Palo Alto, but it's not that much closer. So I have to drive about a half an hour. Are there any areas that I am unaware of that are closer that are fenced in where dogs are allowed? I'm
Where
not
do you go
aware
in
of
Menlo Park?
Men-
You
Menlo
go to
Park.
Middle Avenue? You go to
the
Middle?
Menlo, the
Well-
Menlo Park one I go to is it's the ball field that's open only from 8 to 10 in the morning.
Yeah, and
Mountain
there's
View, I can be there anytime, so.
there's
yeah.
another one on off of Willow Road further down towards 101. That has a different surface.
Okay.
But anyway, I'd say Menlo Park is the
Yeah, the
closest.
bottom line, you
Um,
gotta get in the car and drive, quite a distance. Particularly here, many of the people that live in Portola Valley, have larger backyards or have other areas, but there's the socialization aspect. And, as we all, if we're dog people, we, the earlier you socialize your dog with other dogs and people, the better it is. We have a couple dogs here that I have one
Oops.
that attacked my dog. So, I got sidetracked there, but we don't have a large number, but we also, I mean, you can walk, but we don't have any place to let them run, meet. And we also emphasize here the benefit to seniors who love animals and no longer have them. So for us, that is also another a plus and a consideration for
Mhm.
people that their dog dies, they love dogs, they're at an age they don't want to get another one, but they love having them. My dog is, I'm very fortunate. She's very socialized. The staff love her, and so she provides love and benefit to a lot of the people when I'm out and about. But anyway, a little different scenario.
Okay. All right, well, thank you. So then I just wanted to break down without having the folks that don't own dogs here, just to kind of see what the breakdown was without. And I don't know if this is really relevant. I mean, we just know that people are taking their dogs off leash is really what it is. It doesn't really vary by the number of dogs you have. So
Can I interrupt 1 second, Karen? A long
Sure.
time ago, I used to take my dog's name is Ginger. I used to take her over to the town center. And I think what I would do, which isn't the safest, but for my safety, I have like a 50-foot leash, you know. And so, you've got a leash and that's not safe for other dogs that are off, but that gives her a chance to run. Now, are most of the people that go to the town center, do they all, I mean, their dogs have instant recall. They're not going to be going into the ballpark field and all of that, or I guess that's some of the problem.
The problem.
So that is one of there are issues and some of the dogs, yes, go on to playing fields. They've taken food from people,
Yeah.
so there are issues, which is why we're trying to find something that might work for everybody. In terms of the usage of the Portola Valley areas, you can see that the largest number of respondents, this was a question that you could answer more than one
Right.
So it's but there are over 100 people that say they go to the town center to the grassy area.
Yeah.
Port of Madera School. The next one are people that take their dogs off or for hikes, on the trails, and then Ormondale. And Corte Madera and Ormondale are fenced. For
They
the
are.
well, Ormondale is a smaller field fenced. Corte Madera is fenced, but it includes the whole school. So it's not, I guess I should say the field itself isn't completely fenced,
So
but it's more enclosed than town center. Rosati Field is more or less totally enclosed, and there aren't a few people that take their dogs there. And Ford, which is also fenced, has a few people that take their dog there.
See, I didn't even know about those areas that they were available, that have fences. The field or court or Rosati.
You mean all these, how do I say this? All those fields are,
Not official.
no, they're not official. They're certainly available for public use, but they're not meant to be used for dogs off leash are illegal, right? So they're not meant to be used that way, at least not right now. And then there were some other people that did say they took their dogs other places. Woodside Priory came up as a place. There's also a dog park, kind of a very small dog park with tan bark at the PV Ranch that is used. And then Ladera has the Woodland School field that is back behind the school and next to the Ladera Rec Center. It's a very large field there. Those are sort of the ones that came to mind as others.
Right.
And then I thought this was interesting. So oh geez, I'm so sorry. I've got trigger finger today. But as you can see, the most folks are using an off leash, or they would visit an off leash area before 11 a.m. or between 3 and 7, which begs the question of, do we need to have something 24/7, or can it be open certain hours of the day and accommodate folks? That's just something to look at in terms of the usage. And this was sort of a list of features. What we really wanted to do was see if there was something that would get a person who currently has their dog off leash to go to a off leash area and not use other parts of town. And there are a number of people that they weren't happy with this question. They wanted it to be in addition to still having the other parts of town. Well, we can get into that a little bit, but you can see for most of these owners, having a very large space to be able to throw the ball and have the dog run is important. And then secondly, and Nancy, to your point, most people want it fenced because that way they don't have to worry about their dog getting into activities or places they shouldn't be in. Parking and having a garbage can there so you don't have to take that poop bag home in your car are important. And then you can see, the other ones, having water in a mowed grass field. I'm sort of surprised those came up as even. And some people like the trails, but obviously people bring their own poop bags. So that's not something that's a make or break.
Yeah, because each of those items, some require no staff maintenance and some require residents just taking care of it. It's a real mixture when you start looking at the different amenities on what the cost is of those different things.
Yeah. But I think the important things for me are this large space.
Yep.
And I think the fence may be an issue.
Yeah.
And then, sorry?
I was just going to comment. To me, when you just said an off-leash area, it was like, so off-leash that's not fenced in. I guess when I think of an off-leash area, I think that and fencing go together. So it
Well,
was interesting to see here. Obviously, there are people that just want an area that isn't necessarily fenced. I was just curious.
yeah, and it doesn't have to be fenced. There's no law that requires that it be fenced. So, but here, you know, this is the reason for supporting it. Most people wanted it for socialization for their dogs. Obviously, safety issues come into play, as we've talked about, whether the dog goes into somebody's game or bothers another dog or other people that are there not wanting to have dogs bother them. Sanitary issues always come up, that there's always, you know, poo left on the field. And then there's socialization for the people too. A lot of people view it as their social club group. And as you can see, the legal requirement is of lower interest to people, although they, you know, folks still would like to be able to comply with the law. Okay, now I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this. In the packet, we cut and pasted all of the open-ended comments. So I'll show you those in a second. But why this question is, why would you, oh gosh, why would you not support an off-leash area? And as you can see, the biggest issue is people saying there's dangerous dogs and that they shouldn't be off leash. There was also a contingent of folks, I was surprised, that don't want a lot of non-Portola Valley people coming in and using, you know, coming in specifically because we have a great off leash area. You know, there's a concern that if we fence something, we're impacting our open space. A lot of people are happy with the way things are. And some, you know, they want the fence. We saw that before, but those are sort of the main issues. Patty, do you want to add anything to this? Oh, and the cost. People are concerned about spending money at a time when the town doesn't have any money. So that's
reasonable.
really the key issues. And then this anything else, we said, is there anything else you want us to know? And there were a lot of things that came up about features like water fountains or oh gosh, I can't remember the other things. I'll show you the list. And then concerns about dog behavior, and was there a way that you could get your dog certified to be off leash, or things like that. The request to have different areas for different sized dogs. You know, people were suggesting ideas for locations, and but then you know, it still came up about the cost to the town and attracting non-residents, at least a few comments like that. And I will show you way back up in the front of this, if you look at the agenda. This is cutting and pasting of all of the open-ended responses. So this is certainly a
Thank you for all that work. Amazing.
well, sure, but it's certainly an area where people have a lot to say. I mean, I think it's good that we're having the discussion and all of that. So that's essentially the survey in a nutshell. And then last but not least, let me go through here. I'm just not, this is easier for me to do, is and Patty, you and I were talking about at the beginning, is what do we need to do to move forward, and what should our next steps be? You know, I obviously think the interest is there. Do we need to get approval to move forward from the town manager? Or do we just keep working on things? And clearly we're going to have to do some work and put together, I don't know what we want to call it, a cost benefit analysis or what, of the potential sites and how feasible they are. So anyway, I'll stop sharing my screen on
You
that.
you have sites in mind?
There have been a lot of sites talked about. There's no ideal site. For instance, towns, people have said, why not open up the town center? Like in the morning, you know, an area of the town center, or there's a piece of the town center that's off to the side of the tennis courts. Between the, you know, the trail and the tennis courts, there's land there. There's Springdown next door. There's Rosati's Field. So Ford Field, we've looked at and talked about. We looked at Dorothy Ford Park, you know, that area next to Ford Field, but we've not identified a particular site, and there's issues with every one of them. You know, there's we've got to be careful about the equestrian community, because I guess dogs and horses don't mix well. We have open space and conservation to think about. So I'm open to all ideas and suggestions. And Patty, I was hoping there'd be more folks here, whether on our committee or from the public, to maybe engage in a discussion.
Yeah, I agree. It's kind of disappointing. One of the things that jumped out at me was the number of people who expressed preference for a fenced area. I mean, it was pretty high. And we've been at least one of our avenues of exploration has been to explore an area that's not fenced, because fences by themselves just raise all sorts of hackles with almost any area that you're thinking about. And so we thought, well, maybe we could just identify a large open space that is not fenced and designated as an off-leash area. That obviously creates some problems, but you know, I was taken back a little bit by the strong preference for a fenced area. So I just wonder if that makes us want to kind of step back and look at our alternatives a little bit differently.
No, I think that's a good point. I mean, I can think of two areas right now that have what I would call, well, three, that have fenced, you know, sort of an existing fenced area. So it's not like we're creating a new fence somewhere.
Here,
Are you, Lindsay, you're talking to Rita? Are you having some,
getting a cookie from Rita.
okay.
Sorry.
You know, is the question
to
is
share,
do we need
Lindsay.
to look, you know, one idea was Rosati's before 11 a.m. Right? Rosati's Field, which is, I looked at it and it's got split rail fencing, but it's got mesh or whatever that is, wire mesh on
Yeah.
the split rail. So that is a potential. We've talked about Springdown because there is fencing, but I think there's there's deed restriction issues and conservation open space issues. And there's also Ford Field, which is what Menlo Park does, right? They share the baseball field with the dogs, and that, I know when I talked to the person from Menlo Park, the dogs do tear up the field. But, you know, they dig. That's what dogs do. So I don't know if that's an ideal situation or if that would go anywhere. I
What
would
they
love to
are
hear.
using the Menlo Park. It's such a huge area. Most of the dogs run, there's very few that run in the infield because it's sort of over on the other side. So they're mostly in the outfield. I'd say generally people are very good about policing one another, like, hey, your dog just pooped over there, or we'll pick up somebody else's. The poop isn't a problem. I guess they do dig it up a little bit, but it's probably better than the outfield than the other. It's nice and they just restrict, the times that it's used. It's a little problem from, 8 to 10 isn't always just Monday through Friday, but there's a large group that goes there. So there is a social aspect of it. So I don't know. I use that when I go over to Mountain View, which is a lot further, I sometimes will just go in the afternoon when I'm running errands. I'm usually the only one there. I'm sure there are other times that there are more dogs there. I'd say there are more dogs in the urban area, the small dog park, in Mountain View. But yeah,
Mhm.
so it's
Well,
interesting to hear you say you were surprised with the fence. And of course, I think of it as that's the only kind of dog park. So it's great. You got a lot of wonderful input, and thanks for summarizing that and creating. It was I thought it was the questions and stuff were not easy to come up with. So
Well, but
you did a
it's
good job.
interesting to since so many people already um, take their dogs off leash. They're not concerned about fencing, obviously. I mean, if they're taking their dogs off leash at town center, there's no fencing at town center. Um, and so I was surprised that that came up as strong as it did. That's all. And I just think it changes my perspective a little bit. I go back to maybe what Catherine McGill talked about, which is she might be able. Catherine is the chair of our conservation committee, and we've been bringing her along with us the whole way because obviously she's a big constituent, and she kind of put an olive branch out there a couple months ago and said that she might be willing to meet us halfway, and she talked about the area, next to the tennis courts, and that they might be willing to tolerate, again, air quotes, some kind of very obscure fencing that wouldn't interfere. I mean, the thing is, you've got your tennis courts there. You got this huge, tennis court fencing, and they're concerned with a little 3-foot high dog fence. Drives me freaking crazy. But, to that extent, that might be something that we might think about pursuing a little bit more. And using that, we could always put up, we talked previously about putting up temporary fencing, so we wouldn't have to incur a lot of expense, and just doing some kind of, test, see how it goes.
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah. I'm trying to
yeah. I
think.
mean, we're clear. Whatever we do, we should be piloting it and monitoring, the usage and seeing how if it changes behavior. This is the whole question: is will putting something like this up change the current behavior that's already there? And we won't know till we try.
Well, I'm very skeptical that it will. I think the people who mention that they're comfortable with status quo are going to continue to do their own thing. And I've said this to Sarah, I said it to every town manager, that unless the town starts to enforce the leash law, nobody's gonna, there won't be 100% compliance.
Yeah.
It may not even be 50% compliance. But if you put it at town center and you say to people who have their dogs off leash on the softball field or on the soccer field, and you say, there's this dog leash area over there, go over there, unless you walk them over there and babysit them or ask the town staff to enforce it, which is not really their job. I just don't know what the motivation is for people to change.
Hey, here's an idea. I've got an idea, a revenue generating idea. The sheriff hangs out at town center and tickets the off-leash dog owners, and we get a percentage of the ticket revenue.
Someone mentioned that in one of their comments.
Oh, they
They actually brought that up. Said we should fine everybody who has an off-leash dog, and that would solve the town financial problems like a month.
Yeah. I have a question because I don't know. If I think of the town, town center area, you got the area of, the one side along Portola Road. And then if you go the far opposite end, the far opposite end, because it reminds me a little bit of here at the Sequoias. So we have a cutting garden that people use, and it's sort of the far end is right next to, our big bowling green area. And that's why we're looking at, a relatively narrow strip, but long, and a place so you could have benches and a few things inside. What is, what's on the other side of that? I'm mentally thinking about, can you do a strip that runs parallel to whatever, when the grass stops, what's there? I don't know. Is it a private property? Is it part of the,
You're talking about if
Mhm.
you're at Portola Road looking towards
past
town
the
center,
ball?
you're looking,
Yeah.
yeah,
So yes,
so
looking towards town center, and then you've got the ball field, and then you've got the grass area where people go. And what does that grass area, which is pretty far, what does it bump into?
that's the soccer field, and that bumps into private property called
Okay.
well, I'm forgetting the name of it. What's it called, Patty? El Mirador.
Mirador.
And
Okay, so here is town center, right?
Right.
Okay. So
Right.
this is Springdown. So this would be an
Oh,
absolutely
okay.
wonderful area, but there
Okay.
are deed restrictions, and that is considered open space. This
Okay.
area right here,
Yeah.
which runs
Yeah.
parallel to Portola on the other side of the tennis courts,
Right.
has been mentioned as a possible area. And that's the one area that the chair of the conservation committee said that they might be willing to work with us on.
Okay.
Most of the dogs right now run on the softball field and
Right.
on the soccer field,
In the
right?
soccer field. Okay.
This is a maintenance shed. There's
Right.
nothing there.
Right.
This area on the other side is private property. Now that would be perfect as well, but it's private property.
Does the
So
soccer field go does the soccer field totally butt up right against that? Or is there some area
yes,
where the
no,
soccer field ends that would, I'm mentally sort of thinking about our configuration here, where you
no,
maybe
it's
have
no,
a 20-foot
there's
strip.
there's no room there. It butts up. Everything is right next to each other.
Okay. Now we have consciously, and for a couple of reasons, stayed away from the road. The road being, we have a lot of local residents that walk through our property to get to Windy Hill. Okay, so that was another reason for us to have this area as far away as possible, not to mention just disruption from traffic and cars and whatever. So,
Yeah.
my
Well,
experience has been to
this
not have it
area
near
here,
a road.
yeah, this area here, we kind of felt because it's so close to Portola Road,
Yep.
probably needed to be fenced. Now, this is also a trail that a lot of horses come down
Right.
because Springdown is right here. So
Okay.
there was a concern that there was some equestrian conflict right here as well.
Yeah.
So,
Well, even
there's
if,
just not There's just not a perfect area. Just crazy. I hate it. I mean, this area outside of Christchurch, again, private property.
Can you show
Um,
me the Rosati's area and so that's on this side of Rosati's, of Zot's?
Yeah, Rosati's is over. Where it is. Right
It'd be
there.
down low. Yeah, okay, I see
Oh, yeah.
Rosati's field right there. Yeah,
So
okay,
Rosati Alpine Inn is right here,
all right.
and this is the soccer field. So,
Okay, is that soccer field a community or used by a school, or I just don't know, yeah.
well, it's used by organized soccer leagues.
Okay,
Right now it's not being used at all because there are parking issues with Rosati's.
yeah,
But
right,
before Rosati's opens, wouldn't be any parking issues. People could
right.
park, and
Yeah, and
this is
somebody
very
said
fenced in.
somebody said they're closed on Monday. Have it opened all day Monday
Yeah,
or
they are.
something.
And then you've also got Ford Field.
Yeah, I'm not that,
Um,
that's where we do our evacuation too, but I don't know
yeah.
anything about it.
So you've got Ford Field here, and you got Dorothy Ford Park next to it.
Okay,
So, and then Judith Murphy sent me a note. Lot on the other side of, there's that little fence, that bridge there. So this lot on the other side just came up for sale.
Hmm.
And she thought about putting the dog park there. I don't know where it is because
Pat,
the
no, I
fence
was gonna say, this is the
bridge
tree
is right
farm.
here.
This big thing, it's just gotta be, I don't even, where's the creek? This is the tree farm.
Creek right here. No, the tree farm is next to 280. There's the tree
Oh,
farm.
well, then it's another tree farm. Doesn't it look,
No, there's a bridge right here. See this bridge?
yeah,
There's a for sale sign right here. There's a lot on the other side. This bridge must be this area right here that is for sale.
but it's in it's Santa Clara County.
It's in Santa Clara County.
Yeah,
But
Oh, it
if
is.
the town bought it, it would be our property. But it's $6 million. So the town is not going to buy it for a dog park. If anything, they'd probably buy it for housing if they bought it. But there's just no perfect area.
Hmm.
So
Does somebody that owns a home that has a fenced-in area need income and we can pay to use their backyard?
well, actually, that's been mentioned.
Okay,
And there were issues of parking, liability,
the parking, yeah,
um,
yeah.
other
Nothing's
crap
easy.
that came up. I
Yeah,
actually got a list of all the town-owned properties, and there are like over 100 of them. And we looked at all of them, and there's just no good solution. It's
mhm.
crazy.
And it sounds like, given that there's no good solution where that is the only use of that, it does take us to the consideration, just like Menlo, that has said, okay, we're going to share this space by, having it available part of the time. And, that seems to work out. And as you said, you've talked to people there with that.
Yeah. So I think next steps, I mean, I really think I have to talk to Corey, and I'm just not sure how much Corey is going to feel comfortable doing as the interim town manager.
yeah.
But I think I have to get a perspective on how to move forward. I know how Sarah feels about it. Sarah's our mayor. She's very, very supportive. In fact, she wants to see about using Springdown. She just said, go do a test, see if it works. I said, well, I'd like to, but I don't know.
So
So,
the one I, when on those phone calls that I was making, there was somebody who said that Springdown, when they've taken their dog there, they've, get foxtails. And so
Yeah.
they said it's cost me several, I don't know, it was been like 3 times. It was like every time I take my dog there, I'm at the vet for another few $100s. So that was only one person, but that obviously is of great concern because if it's,
foxtails did come up in the comments several
Oh,
times.
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
Yeah, it's an issue. I mean, that's the other thing. When you've got a grassy field that you could run the dogs on, and people are telling you, no, you've got to go and use this, natural dirt, gopher hole, crappy, dusty area, you're just not going to do it. I just, drives me crazy.
I must admit, yeah, it's interesting. We all have different preferences. So the large dog park over in Mountain View has DG, decomposed granite. And they probably did, it's been there for probably 20 some years or so. And I don't necessarily know, but it drains relatively well. But it's not grass. So it's the maintenance probably is just to hose it down, in the dusty times of the year and, pick up the trash of the garden. So the maintenance is a big cost consideration. The one in the park in Mountain View, the urban park, that has the artificial turf. And it seems to work great. It's not inexpensive to install, but then again, you don't have the maintenance. The places that I've gone that have the bark, it's just a mess. And it's hard to see where picking up the poop and it's really a mess. So, I mean, when you come to the surface, but if you're doing something temporary, and you're not going to want to invest a lot in what the surface is, but that's a big consideration when it comes to,
Yeah, it definitely is.
So anyway,
So,
well, it's interesting. I appreciate all you're doing. And have you as a group been the one that have been initiating this, or have you gotten a lot of push from residents? It sounds like you've been working on it for 5 years. Is it that a few of you, and namely you specifically, that have
yeah,
interested
really
and
yes, we have been the impetus, for lack of a better word. But there has been, as you can see from the survey, wide support for it.
right.
People say we need one,
Yeah,
but just can't solve all the problems.
yeah. Ginger, do you want a doggy park? Huh? Come here, you say hello. Okay. Hi. Oh, she goes to the beauty parlor next Friday. You say hi. You say hi.
Oh,
Say I'm a cockapoo.
oh God,
Everybody
adorable,
loves me. Let's see.
adorable.
You want to say hi?
she's very cute.
Hi,
She's cute.
Ginger.
I got her, believe it or not. I couldn't believe it. She was a stray. I used to volunteer at the Peninsula Humane Society in dog adoptions for about 10 years. And I was on the wait list for a mini golden doodle. And I volunteered one day and Ginger was there. She looked enough like one. Would you believe the next day the reader calls me and says, we have a litter for you. I said, oops, I already have a doggy. So they thought she was about 10 months old. She's now about 8, but she's been a joy. She loves to go to doggy parks, but it's a case of getting up and getting over to Menlo Park before they close at 10 o'clock. So anyway, what kind of dogs do you guys and gals have? What do you have? Karen, you said your dog was barking.
Yeah, he just went outside. I have a rescue and I don't, he he's definitely looks like a black lab, but a little bit of a different shape, and he's got a chow tail. He's got like
Okay.
a little fur on his neck, so he's 100%. I say that he's 100% mutt.
Yes, which
So
is good, which is
yeah,
good. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. So, how do you,
I
what do you,
have one, same.
yep, yep.
Looks a lot like a hound dog. Got black and brown, tan, kind of coonhound, but he's not. We don't know what he is. And then we have a smooth collie.
Oh, okay, okay. Okay, so you hit the 2 category. Lindsay, what do you have? Do you have a
Well,
doggy?
you have to keep this quiet, very quiet, secret. I have a wife.
Oh. But she gives you cookies. I can't say that Ginger's very good
yeah.
at baking.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say she's giving you cookies instead of you giving her cookies,
And her
Lindsay.
cookies.
So let's
Oh,
think about
don't
that
push
one.
it, dear. I'm nice
Yeah.
to her.
Yeah.
If ever
You're
need
s-
money, I'm rub her
You're
leg.
supposed to be, Lindsay, you're supposed to be sharing, you know. Where's my cookie?
Well, it's on the way. It's on the way.
All right, well, Karen.
Yep.
Obviously, thank you for all the work you did on that.
Oh my gosh, yes.
I mean, do you agree that that would be kind of the next step?
Yeah, I think chat with Corey. I think I completely agree with you. She's got her hands full with a lot of other things, and given that she's only agreed to be the interim manager till January 15th, I don't think it's gonna go anywhere. I do think maybe we should chat with Catherine again, right? From conservation, because now we know fencing is a bigger deal than we thought before. And maybe chat with that or talk about that a little bit. And maybe, again, maybe at the next meeting, present some of these shared ideas, like shared field ideas like Rosati's, at least in the mornings to
Yeah.
11 a.m. Except Sundays, right?
Yeah.
Because of adult soccer being there. So, and
Yeah.
that at least gives some alternative.
Yeah.
But the idea of putting in temporary fencing and see if people, in that area at town center, we should also chat with Catherine about.
I
Yeah,
think
okay.
having it close to the road is a downer for that particular location.
Even
Just
with
a
a
comment.
fence, even with a fence,
Yes, even with a fence, correct.
why?
Correct.
Why?
You, number one, you've got a lot more, just, you've got the dogs that are playing together, and again, it depends upon how big the area is. But you've got the traffic going by that I believe that most of the dog areas I've gone to, dog parks, they don't have a lot of stuff to distract the dogs, from around the outside area. They're just, and I don't know whether that would aggravate the barking more or whatever. And also because it looks like it's pretty near, you're going to have people walking by on that path in addition to the horses being there. So, if there's concern, I don't know. Uh, most of my experience has been at the places I've gone to is they're as, remote or separate from surrounding things as possible. So,
Yeah.
do I have a test that says, now the urban park, the flip side of that is the urban park that they have over in Mountain View. But even though there's the hotels and stuff around, well, there are the roads that go by. So I guess that's sort of, but it's such a smaller area. You don't have as many dogs and stuff there. So,
Yeah.
it may just be my
Yeah.
perception and
I-
why we are trying to keep it, away from the road. So
Yeah.
let me know.
Okay, well, we'll do what we
Thank you for
can.
your time.
Okay, the last three things are things that are not moving. So,
Okay.
Okay,
Thank you,
anything
Patty.
else? Anything else? Okay. Motion to adjourn.
Second, what, a motion and second? All right, thank you. Have a good
Thanks,
evening.
Thank you for all the
everybody.
time you guys spend. I
Yeah,
appreciate it.
you.
All right,
Thank you for
thanks.
coming
Bye.
by.
Nice to see
Bye-bye.
everyone
Bye-bye.
again.
Yeah,
Bye.
thanks, Lindsay.
a reminder. Take medicine. This is a reminder. Take medicine.
Survivor Wednesday at 8/7 Central on CBS. What are you doing? Stop. I looked at your laptop. I saw her text you this morning. What? We'll see you at 8:30 from Kayla DH. Couple bitch ass smiley faces after that. Yeah, Kayla DH. DH, dental hygienist. I got my teeth cleaned this morning. See? You reached dental office.com. We're unavailable to dinner. All right. In fairness to her, my actual girlfriend is named Kayla, and I hooked up with Kayla a year ago at a reunion when Ellen and I were on a break. So there's some context that you're missing. You know what? I've been waiting. I have been biting my tongue, but now is the time. Louis Zephyr commemorative medallion, World War II bombardier who survived a plane crash, 2 years in Japanese prison camps. Mitch, whenever I'm going through like a tough spot, like almost going through my divorce, right? I would rub this coin and I would think, you know what? I don't got it so bad. Just gotta keep on persevering. What am I gonna do with this? You gotta get out of the relationship, okay? You know you do. Ella knows. And you'll hit some moments, right, where it won't be easy. Okay, we go for Mitchell. Anything? But we just got here. Interdepartmental protocols. I'm telling you, there's a pattern here. You just gotta give us today. From upstairs, wrap it up and get back here. You know, also, she's really stressed out at work, man. The AUSA kicked her case back with the defamation letter. She put a year into that thing, no results. Okay. It's our target. That is her. I told you to wait the car time. Sorry. In the car. Did you see that? He deliberately kicked the ball at me. I'm sure it was an accident. You didn't see it. Just take a breath, okay? We need to talk about this commute. You don't want me to work? It's an extra 40 minutes each way for just a few more bucks an hour. My job pays his tuition. Yeah, out of school, it doesn't seem to be helping. Let's not do this now, okay? I just think he may be picking up on your stress levels. Not in April. I'm trying. This. Yes.
Last week, somebody said, we compete them down. Just for a minute, like the whole classroom went silent. And we're like, oh my gosh.
A lot of carnage. And then Hamas was firing in machine gun fire from in this doorway. So most of those young
Reps.
One QB. Our community is affected. I think we'll get it dialed in. I think PG&E will get it dialed in. I think our firefighters and the Cal Fire, they're.
You have.
Hey, thank you, man. I appreciate it. I'm feeling great, man. Feeling great. Still the same OG right here, so should be able to pick up where we left off. You know, that's the idea.
That's what Jets fans were hoping for because they've waited a while for a wideout of this caliber. Since Adams was drafted in 2014, he's had more games with 100 yards in 4 seasons, 1,000-yard seasons, and 10 touchdown seasons than all Jets receivers combined. But no.
Plus 225. Get to the City Grand Slam. Jack Flaherty was a beast in game 1, and Shohei's the favorite to win the end.
Than $1 million for the rest of this year. Why is that? Well, Cooper had a $20 million salary for this season. The Browns, for cap purposes, earlier this year converted almost $19 million of it to a signing bonus. All the Bills have to pay now is the prorated portion of a $1.2 million salary. So they get a cheap wide receiver, granted, for a deal that involved a third-round draft pick here. He now slides.
All right, now I'm going to go with Alabama. I agree with you. I think their defense can get right in this ball game. But look, Tennessee will come to play. It'll be a tough match. It should be an excellent football game. But Alabama by a hair as well. I agree with that little hair. Perfect.
Epic.
Or bring my son home in one piece and stay warm.
It's not.
Farmers help people reduce sugar and start sweetened.
You sometimes end up with lane sale vehicles. Quick Auction can connect you with dismantlers who will buy that vehicle and take it off your hands fast. Go to quickauction.com, answer a few short questions about the vehicle you want to sell, and get an offer in 30 minutes. That's quickauction.com.
Welcome.
Red color is something that we eat a lot back at home. Oh, yeah. So me not having red peppers or tomato paste.
Finding the soft spot on that QB sneak. You see a lot of these quarterbacks under center back up a little bit and then find that void. He sees all that push on the right side, gets him.
You know what? Let me go inside. They got an ATM.
Okay, I give you a few minutes. This dude says he got hitched to this dog, so what that means is either he's lost his mind or I am.
Here's the money for the drug fee and the paperwork. Thanks.
No problem at all. Hold up, I gotta see this. Oh, he just kissed her on the lips. And he's taking the dog into the casino. So, yeah. Congrats, I guess. To each their own. The weirdest thing for me tonight was the fact that he drove all the way from Florida with her in the passenger seat. I wonder if he took the carpool lane.
After his fifth tow of the night, TW earns $375.
And compete in karate. I'm proud of showing people my smile. Oh, God, is never in it.
Where the hell I go from here?
All right, so best for last, right?
Okay.
You look awesome, by the way. The wheelchair.
Yeah, I took over the wheelchair for her.
All right.
At my rock bottom, I was weighing about 725. The last time I seen Dr. Smith was about 9 months ago, and I was around 420 pounds. He told me I had to lose 100 pounds before my next appointment. I'm extremely nervous.
So this is looking right around 303.8, which I think is unbelievable. You good? Okay.
Damn, that's 5 pounds less than what I was at the bar pull-up. I surpassed Dr. Smith's goal, my goal, all the goals. I'm so ready for Skinner.
You guys saying stop because I want you to stop, or
Yeah, that was a growl. Yeah.
Good bacteria working with your body to help your gut and you. Ew. Detailed DNA results.
top of the line filter, man.
Of course, we'll downgrade our insurance to get a lower rate.
Well, you don't have to make sacrifices now that you're saving money with the Progressive Home and Auto Bundle.
You couldn't have said that like 6 seconds ago?
Non-attorney spokesperson. This is a paid advertisement for legal services by Nightline Legal. Cases assigned on a random basis to participating law firms. Were you sexually assaulted while in an Uber or Lyft? You are not alone. And we believe you. These companies may have
Think business cash card and Chase for business. Sure, this prints business cards, but we also print these and those.
This kingdom is ours. Nobody is going to take it from us. This football thing is a great tool because everybody needs help with tax and money.
He's anxious to be brave.
It's like God into the moment.
I know I'm supposed to do something, but I don't know what. If you love Christ, all the other stuff is over. It comes from heaven. So you can feel it as it's unfolding. It's our son. He is always up in our business.
He's the Verizon 5G home internet.
So,
Used to be a competitive gamer, but with the higher lag, he can't keep up with the squad.
so now we're his squad.
What are Kevin's plans for fall? He's going to college.
Out of state.
Change of plans. I've decided to stay local.
Why
I relieve this?
We'll do anything to get him gaming again. You and Cap.
That one costs $950 to make. Profit margins are between 25 and 35% net income. Net income margin after compensation, and everything. So we have very, very strong margins.
So you're making $250,000-$350,000 a year.
Yes. We're in about 400 to 500 stores, brick and mortar stores this season.
So it's seasonal, it goes in for the fall right through the spring.
Well, I think it's mostly holidays.
David, I took a flyer, many seasons ago on the Tipsy Elves guys, learned a lot about that business.
Made a ton of money.
He did make a ton of money. He signed a licensing deal with colleges, by the way. There's only 4 companies you need to go to get to all the colleges.
Yep.
I was buying, it was on Facebook and Instagram. Sometimes we don't know the value of the moments until it's a memory. Take a stand against fentanyl. Visit F. Or if your asthma worsens, headache and sweating will be occur.
Serious allergic reactions can occur. Tell your doctor if you are or may.
You see how there's a light drizzle? That's also really how all this icing forms, just a light coating. It doesn't even have to be measurable.
It's what's called a flash freeze. Suddenly the temperature drops just enough, and all that water that was on the road that was easy to drive on becomes a sheet of ice. And when vehicles are moving along at the rates of speed that they are here, there's no way to be able to stop them.
People don't realize that there's ice and they slip and they just keep slamming into each other. And people getting out of the cars, that can be really dangerous because things like that can happen.
These people are doing like the worst thing you can do. Don't get out of your car. And if you do, put yourself as far away as possible because more cars will come.
Oh, this gets scary as you see people getting out of their vehicles, get over that guardrail because, wow, a massive semi-tractor trailer, probably weighing 60, 70,000 pounds with its cargo, goes slamming into these vehicles.
In a chaotic accident scene like this one, every decision is the difference between life and death.
These people have to get over that guardrail.
Thanks to Connor Rogers. In April, you see those clips there from March and April. So you deserve a
And, it's a little friggin' weird, right? But they're best friends. So now we'll just wait and see what goes on today. All right, let's see what we got. Our guy is just leaving for work. He's backing into the driveway. We have someone pulling up to the house. So that's Jade. Oh, he's coming out. He is dressed up. This is good. Finally, we got some movement. Finally. And we're off. Let's do that. Make it right. Let's see where the heck these guys are going. Fragrant bar. I'm going in. I have the perfect spyware for this. What is this? Audio, video.
How are you?
Everybody be careful.
Older, they're gonna have their power.
We need your help. Go online.
Was there? Here's the call first. Targeting. Defense number 31. The play's under review.
You're getting younger in spirit. There are not many people who really are happy in their old age. And I think on some level that he might say I'm wrong. I don't think I've ever seen him happier. Maybe Jim has been able to grow in a dimension that he wouldn't had a smile lip.
But we are fighting a system, madam, sir. We apologize for the delay. And you're up. Heading start fluids. We can't just have the baby here in the lobby. That's not how this is supposed to happen.
This is pretty much the way it's happened throughout human history.
What's doing here?
They already know he's pregnant. 30 years old. Which is sweet.
Easy to. Extremely brave. Truly, that was the whole idea around.
Important is that you're here now. Let's just enjoy dinner.
Yeah, can't we just have a good time?
Oh, ask Olivia. Olivia, the three of us are having a great time. What's your problem?
My problem is you. You're acting like a baby.
And we come to the center of the shrubbery maze. That's what it all comes down to, isn't it? I'm not grown up enough for you.
Well, you are a baby, aren't you?
Stay out of it, stay out of it. Well, if you think I'm a baby, then perhaps I should act like a baby. Where?
Hey, keep that kid quiet.
Oh, what's that? What's that, sir? What's that? I'm sorry, am I being too loud for you? You want to come over here and quiet me down?
Let's not do this.
God, Stewie, come on.
I'm scared.
No, it's okay, it's okay. Sir, you feel strong? You want to come over here?
No, I want to stay here and have my steak.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
What is that, the porterhouse?
Yeah.
How is it?
What do you care?
If we weren't fighting, would you recommend it?
Yeah, I would.
Well, I know what I'm getting.
Fries and comeback sauce for just $5.
I told
Concept of buying the American dream. They can't just go in and do structural improvements to the modest homes people already have. No, they have to turn a regular house into a McMansion filled top to bottom with outrageously expensive shit. They want us to feel like these products. Special.
first round.
Y por eso mismo vemos que empeora.
A club, frozen in time. This atomic bomb relic is normally hidden away in museum storage. For half a century, noted photographer
Chance to develop like a Derek Fountain, like a healthy Damien.
You were my ticket.
Saving on your education should be a right, not a competition. At University of Phoenix, our bachelor's and master's scholarships are accessible to all. You'll get the best scholarship or savings you qualify for. Simple as that. Because everyone deserves an opportunity to save on their education without competing for it. Explore scholarship options at University of Phoenix.
Like a relentless weed, moderate to severe ulcerative colitis symptoms can keep coming back. Start to break away from UC with Tremfya, with rapid relief at 4 weeks. Tremfya blocks a key source of
And my father got sick shortly after. I need to take care of them. Weighing that with my schoolwork, that can sometimes be tricky. I've been the best teacher. I'm not the
The 5 pound, yeah.
It's an incredible library of Alexandria that we're beginning to destroy. Bird sound is beginning to change. Not only the species are changing, but the numbers of too bad.
Options. This is what God said about the situation.
Bay Area Houses provides an all-cash offer in minutes. We buy as is. No repairs, no fee.
Is it?
I'm not for the next 7. He's right. This is the best way to bring Luther in without bloodshed.
Where do you go, Smith?
It's the 40%.
Watch where you're going. I'm sorry, maybe I didn't see it.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
That's right. It's me, that crazy bitch. Your new best friend. You see it. That's very odd. I can do this all day. Okay, we have some moves. What are you doing?
I don't know.
Obsessed, going in here, see if the rat caught a new rat.
Oh, boy.
Hmm.